Hey, Yup, how you doing? Hey, well, we're moored up again. We've just done a load of washing. We're going to spend a couple of days up here. It's been absolutely fantastic here up on the River Soar. We're going to head back to the Trent and Mersey and, don't know, just take another muse up. We're going to be out on the canal till at least October, and then we're going back in the marina for winter. Maybe, we're not quite sure what we're doing yet, but we're just enjoying life so much out here on the cut. It's absolutely fantastic. So hope you enjoy the video. Here's a title sequence. Welcome back everybody, and welcome back to a channel dedicated to the gentle life. I live on board with Levi and Diesel, my two dogs, and not forgetting of course my beautiful wife. Living on board as we have now for these past 10 years, we are so happy to welcome you all back and for you to see what we've been up to, making improvements inside the boat. On then from the Narrowboat Canal, roughly 2 3/4 furlongs away from Red Hill Marina as we approach the underbelly of the 453 motorway near East Midlands Parkway railway station. We're currently navigating through Ratcliffe Lock number 58. This new lock, subject to many closures over recent years, is now fully operational again. The old lock here, look. The old gates here, it's all just all infilled. The old lock gate, look. There's all the gears still here, look. On the old bolts. Sat in there. Gives you an impression what it looked like on places like the Nottingham Canal and places like that, abandoned canals. Nice to see that it's mostly intact in many ways, so in a sense it's mothballed, but it's there, but it's just infilled. It's kind of a shame really, but CRT won't be reopening that anytime soon. In the shadow of Ratcliffe on Soar power station, which has now been closed. Crazy. Oh crikey, there's one of those dreadful wide beams coming up behind us. The River Soar then was first considered for navigation as early as 1634, giving you some idea of the history of the canals. And with Ratcliffe Lock clearly behind us, the silt build-up that has plagued that lock over the years, affecting water levels within the lock, have now been sorted. But this has got to be my favourite lock on the whole system. Just make sure you check the signs on the approach. This is a deep lock. This is Kegworth deep lock number 56. Like Ratcliffe Lock, it is a wide lock on what is referred to as the old cut of the River Soar. Built in 1986, it provides a 12-foot, 3.65 metre rise, replacing an older lock with a 7-foot, 6-inch, 2.3 metre rise as part of the flood control measures, which have blighted this section of the canal for many years now. Being less crude, I could say that if you were to empty a 500ml bottle of water into the cut, it would definitely go into flood. We're inside Kegworth Deep Lock. Well, filling of the lock can be slow going, and as I've said before in my other videos, take your time when going through locks, control the water, don't release the paddles aggressively, release them gradually. Remember, you have the power to control the water flow into the lock as it rises. This lock is deep, but trust me, there are even deeper and wider locks on the open navigations in what we call tidal river sections. Look out for those tidal sections on your canal maps. Remember, stay calm. It's all about building up your confidence. And now things are settled down in the lock, the gentleman's going to start raising the other paddle and it'll fill it up to its maximum, and then we can get out of it. It takes about 20 minutes to fill this lock up diligently. but if you want to do it fast, just open both paddles up, but you risk flooding your boat. So if you've got a longer boat, you've got a 70-foot one for example, you'd never do that. You'd never risk that. So this is Kegworth New Lock, and just over there you probably just see the steps there. There's the old lock through there, it's abandoned, not in use. We're just playing at it here.
It's strange to us being up there because there's loads of wide beams. Where we're more, you can't get wide beams, you know. You only can get narrowboats with a single lock.
Trish there just talking about the limitations of where you can go on a wider boat. On the Trent and Mersey, for example, you cannot exceed beyond Willington. After lock 6, you'll have to turn at the winding hole at Willington, and that's your limit. But on your narrowboat, you've got 93 plus miles to play around with on the very same canal. Now, as many of you will well know, we've had a drought, what we perceive to be a drought. I don't think we've had a drought for decades here in the UK, but over Christmas of 2024 into 2025, there was a considerable amount of flooding in this area. We've come up here, Trish probably couldn't hear her because I was talking over. I was just saying that this is her favourite spot on the River Soar. She absolutely loves it here at Kegworth Deep Lock. And what is there not to love? I mean, just look at this. It's absolutely beautiful, and you'll be lucky, even more here at the weekend, if you see about 10 or 20 people. Seriously, all weekend you'd be lucky if you saw 10 or 20 people on the towpath, that is. Seriously. Our favourite spots there are occupied, but we're not complaining because that rail there just damaged your boat, unless you've got cumbersome fenders, which we haven't, because we've been on the narrow parts of the canal in recent years. Very reluctant to come on the wider parts because of the volume of traffic, wide beams, etc. It's just anyway. Well, that's it. After the work that we've done down on the Error Wash, on the boat, and dry dock notwithstanding, it's been absolutely brilliant. We enjoyed every single minute of it, and even though we did quite a lot on the boat and got a hell of a lot done, we still had a chance to enjoy ourselves, have a lot of downtime. But what we really enjoyed when we used to live on this section, when we were out boating out of Sawley Marina, we loved it here. We came up here almost every single weekend in summer in those early days when we first started boating back in 2015. And another reason for being up here, maybe a little bit more obvious, just look skyward. As my daughter absolutely loves aviation, anything that flies she absolutely loves, and that was another reason we used to come up here almost 10 years ago now. Wow, plane spotting. No, she absolutely loves it. We've spent many a time up here because it's so utterly gorgeous, as you can see. And locally, even though it seems remote, you've got Castle Donington. The co-op isn't that far away down the towpath. It literally is a 20-minute walk if you want to go that way. And if you carry on this towpath on this side and walk towards the bow and beyond, you'll find yourself in Sutton Bonington, which is a massive student community, and again a very interesting place with places to go, so you're not really that far away from any kind of facilities. And of course there's the Otter Public House as well, so Sunday lunch or lunch any day of the week. There we have a DHL flight, a day flight, Boeing 757. Well, it's the following day and I avoided boat checks last night when I finished up, so I'm going to complete them this morning. And we only came out of dry dock the previous day, so there won't be much to follow up. It was only 2 or 3 hours cruising, so I'm just checking the oil, checking the bilge, making sure I've not taken on board any water, evacuate it as I would normally. Just all general maintenance that you do on your engine that you get used to, you pick up as you go, and some people even service their own boats. Sorry? Oh, go down. Oh yeah. As you get used to your boat, you'll know the little idiosyncrasies. So with that being said, just make sure I tighten up the bolts, check the connections on the batteries, make sure nothing's worked loose, tighten those up. That's the leisure batteries, by the way. I've been experiencing a little bit of a problem with my starter battery, and I'm going to get that replaced. So yeah, no drama, nothing major, and I've got a compressor anyway, so if I have to jump it, it's not a problem. I will always get the boat started. Now, as you've seen as I'm talking, there's a boat going by. It's a cruiser. So its specs is quite unique. It's got all the look of a cruiser, but it's got the inner workings of a narrowboat. So it's got an internal engine, not an outboard that you would expect from a cruiser like that. And the original owner built it that way, and the gentleman that's just gone by, I spoke to him yesterday, he's got all the specs and diagrams of the original build, which is absolutely fantastic. And while I'm thinking about it, I have a manual for this boat as well, where it was constructed, Huddersfield, back in 2001, and my boat wasn't put on the water until 2003, and it's now 2025, so it gives you an idea of the length of time my boat has been on the cut. Like what I'm doing here? Then don't forget to subscribe. It's absolutely free to do that. I don't want your money, so don't send it over here. Send it to your favourite charity, and in my case, the Lichfield Canal Restoration Trust. Why do I say that? Because they're restoring 7 miles of canal between the Coventry Canal Navigation and the Birmingham Canal Navigation, and that work is going on as we speak. Thanks very much for watching. See you all again in my next video. Take care.